here I am on Honey, and she just got a rope around her neck. She didn't need a bridle and a saddle, and we're just riding around in the pasture. She's a good old horse. She knew the kids were on her, so she behaved herself well. Rim was kind of didn't have any brains like that. He didn't care whether it was adults or kids on him. He wasn't a bad horse. He didn't have the same feeling. I think that donkey's name was Lucky or Hiram. I'm not sure which one that is. Poor Honey. I will get up there eventually. Okay. Get up there. Well, we could spend all day riding the horses around the pasture. We didn't have to leave the pasture to have a great time. The pasture was big enough. Go around the bushes, you couldn't even see the house. We had a great time. Sometimes we'd saddle them up and go places too. But didn't need to. Didn't need to make a big deal out of riding. Just go out there and jump on. There's the Wilshires. Wilshires Pond. We're hiking up from above the Wilshires Pond right now. You don't go that direction very often. We did that here. So that would be Bonnie riding Honey. And I was riding Rim. Me riding Rim. That's Rex. The dog is Rex. Bonnie riding Honey. Bonnie's out back behind. It's windy. Didn't ride as much as we did. She was littler. Usually when she rode, she was riding double. Bonnie and I had gone to summer camp, so Wendy invited her friend up from school to spend some time up there together. We were at the pond. It's a great place. Catch pollywogs in that bathtub. Watch them turn into frogs. Chase frogs. Climb on the log. Dad, he's trying to get Rex into the water. Rex didn't want to go in the water. Wasn't a water dog. Didn't have a tail. He apparently had some kind of a tailgate accident before we owned him. I think Dad sort of rescued him from these people. Getting ready to get rid of him. So Dad got him. Turned out to be a really great dog. A really great dog. I wouldn't even leave this in except it's good. There's so often we get good shots of the pond. There's Rex. Good old dog. And he lived to a ripe old age. He was a really old dog by the time when he died many, many years later. Doesn't want to get wet. Doesn't want to get in. That old swing, apparently. I don't think that swing is there. I was up there last week, hiking around. I think the swing is missing and the log across the pond is missing. The pond is. That swing was fun. That was a log. Bonnie with Honey. There's stables in the background for Owl. This was the winter of '63, but I have such a terrible memory on dates. I don't know if it was '63, but whatever it was a really big winter. And on the way back from our Christmas parties from the family, we couldn't get home. We got all the way to Sky Meadows, but we couldn't get back up to Sky Meadows. So Dad walked up there and got Rex. And we went over to Tom's place and stayed with my uncle. And that was fun. And Dad went over. Well, we were staying at our uncle's. Dad went and cleared the road so we could get home. Cleared that little Caterpillar tractor and we were able to get home the next day or two. See, it's a pretty good smell for Sky Meadows. It's pretty good. A couple of feet. That's field house before it burned down. Sure broke my heart when I heard it burn down. I wasn't happy when the barn burned down, but when the whole place burned down, I had blocked off a clear spot for a little pond. It froze in the winter, so we were able to play on the skate. That was fun. I remember the little drainage ditch that fed that pond came out of the generator house and then ran across like the top part of the pasture. And in winter it would overflow and freeze, and so this sheet of ice would form that ran from the irrigation ditch straight down this little hill and usually end up right around inside the rose bushes. So you could ride a toboggan down it. And as long as you stayed on the toboggan, you were fine, because it lands you right in the middle of those rose bushes. But if you fell off in the rose bushes, it was no fun at all. But that was a lot of fun. Now, I mentioned that generator house, and for the first year, maybe two, we didn't have any power coming up from the power company. We just had that generator. And that was always fun, because we might be watching Ed Sullivan, and the refrigerator and the freezer would come on at the same time, and the TV, the picture would just shrink down to nothing. We'd have to run around, turn the lights off, and unplug the refrigerator or something. It wasn't until later the power company came up there, and we didn't have to worry about that anymore. But I really liked the generator. This is Richard Mitchell.